what I was a student, a helper to an old man for many years. His name was Joe P. Cardinal. He was a veteran, a war veteran. And he used to tell me, he said, you know, new learnings in life are a gift of the Creator. And all our teachings, native voice, kayas, was all tutam, okay? Listen. And so he said, when he said new learnings in life are a gift from the Creator, I used to wonder about that. And then it was because the Creator gave us all this mindset. Just over here, just come in here. The Creator gave us this mind to be able to think, to be able to learn oral teachings, and then they showed you how, just like when we put this teepee up, how to put up a teepee up. You need to know how to measure it and, you know, stuff like that. So that mind is so powerful because it also helps us to show us the lifestyle of the life choices that we make. So how we learn. Come on in, come on in. Even if we have two rows, it's good. Kind of cool out there. It's warm in here when we're all together.
2 rows, just. Sure.
When you come in here and we're tight in here, it's kind of like sardines. All in a row. So anyway, the mind, you know, it's when we think about it. I'm an artist.
I'm learning.
And I do beadwork. I showed my nephew how to bead over there, and you know, Native people are good with their hands, and even sculpting. And I make drums, I make rattles, many toys. But anyway, we use these in ceremony. So the mind has to learn how to do all that, and it also makes us know what kind of road we want to. In a circle, the teepee is in a circle, the sweat lodge is in a circle, and many times you see that design of the medicine wheel. It's called the sacred hoop, the circle of life. We even have dancers that are called hoop dancers, and they twirl their hoops and they make figures of spirits, like the eagle, the butterfly, the atom, the circle. So all these things have to do with that sacred ceremony and how we do things in a circle. This teepee is in the form of a circle. That's why we're all here. And when we're here like this to one another, it's a real good, powerful circle. It's a good, powerful circle. So that's, we have a community. This is community. So this is why, you know, when you see, it takes a whole community to raise a child. And this is part of the circle teachings. So when you look at a teepee like this is a skirt. Because many mothers in here. Without the mothers, these children would not be here. Men would not be here. That's the sacredness of motherhood, Mother Earth. That's why we're sitting down on Mother Earth. And when I was praying there, and I said, I thank the Creator because the Creator had a partner, had a mother. In a native way, we talk about relationship, wakutuin, connection to one another. And this is part of these circle teachings. Because as community, we're all children of the Creator. We're all connected to one another. But we're also connected to the universe, the cosmology, the stars, eh? And everything that grows on Mother Earth. All what we call the four-legged ones. The buffalo is our symbol. Because a long time ago, the teepees were smaller than this, but they were made out of buffalo hides. And that buffalo, I feel like I didn't wear my moccasins today. These are my modern Nike moccasins. But I have moccasins in school here, not too far, and I wear them in ceremony. But all our clothes, like, you know, in the old Wild Bill Hickok days, they had fringes and chaps like the cowboys were. They were all made out of buffalo hides and stuff. And all our drums and rattles, they're all made out of buffalo hides. So that's how the teepees were a lot smaller. And as you can notice, if I put these two poles together and tie them with a rope, rawhide, and this teepee, when it's folded up, it's not that much more bigger. But I could carry it like a stretcher. You know how they use stretchers to carry people? That's how they moved stuff. The horse was adopted, and they could put these onto a horse on either side, like when they pull these wagons, and you could put your teepee there and everything, and you just move from place to place. So this was actually the first mobile home. And then when you move camp, because all of a sudden you hunt out all the buffalo, you hunt out everything, you had to move to the next camp. Maybe your chickens didn't dance here anymore from where the chicken dance started, eh? And they've outfished one lake, so you had to go to the next camp. So basically the native people are what do you call mobile, move from place to place. And that's in Alberta, Canada. You'll see many archaeological sites of where there used to be camps, even down in Edmonton here, down below the legislature grounds. They call it Rossdale Flats. A lot of artifacts that were found there about people a long time ago. My papa says that lived there. See? And so they lived there, and so there's a lot of history about these. And so when you see the skirt, it's like when women go to ceremony, you always see them wear a sarong. I think that's what they call these long skirts, or a long skirt, and that's to represent that motherhood, the teepee. And any time that women carry their skirt into the teepee, it's out of respect of their motherhood. And I'm not going to judge anyone today, but women in the ceremony, they sit like this. Men sit crossward like that, but you don't have to do that right now. That's not what, but they sit like this, and it's quite comfortable.
I should try that, because I'm sitting is not.
So I wanted to thank Eleanor here because she gave me this tobacco protocol, and of course these are the ceremonial prints. They're called in my language wepanaswana. And usually we tie them up in ceremonial grounds, whether it's a sun dance, sweat lodge, or anything. And they have tobacco ties. And they're called wepanaswana because they move with the wind. They will, and palm makers, like the sacred sites over there, you'll see them hanging on trees, and they move with the wind like that. So that's part of us too. Because we have that sacred breath, life breath, it's part of the wind spirit, we call it, oxygen. As long as we have that, when we were born, we took a deep breath. These little guys cried. Communication. Started walking this journey. See? So from the east, the birth of each new day, you have baby birth, like springtime, summertime, teenagers, fall time, adults, relationship, and then old people. I'm 69, but I don't have that much white hair yet. But they call it the north, the wisdom keepers, white hair. So there's a lot of teachings based on this circle. And when we put this teepee up, when we think of our own mothers that brought us into the world, just like, what does a mother do for the young ones? Shelter. We're in a shelter right now. Comfort. Like that. Of course, this mammary glands, feeding the child. Nowadays they have the fancy bottles, right? But every child needs a mother. When the child hurts, what do they usually say? Mama! So
That's right.
In our culture, we have songs that, special mother songs, eh? And we have a spirit woman song, the grandmother moon, because the woman goes through that whole moon cycle. I'm not supposed to be the one teaching this. There's native women, native elders that teach this. But because of the fact that I'm here, I know these stories, because anytime when we say, in the past, my mother used to say, or the grandmothers, never step over a man's head. because your power, you can make him weak. So in any time that the month cycle, women do not go around ceremony, or they don't even pick up a drum or anything like that. And men use sweetgrass, like I use sweetgrass, man's medicine. But I had the one I was trying to burn earlier to bless the place is called sage, and that's woman's medicine. So there's a difference. And of course, in ceremony I use different medicines like cedar, sweet pine, other medicines that I use. Anyway, when we set up this teepee, the first 3 that we put up, first 3, they're the main poles. The Blackfeet, they use 4, but that has to do also with the teachings of 4. So when we think of 4, you think of spirit, you think of physical, you think of mind, you think of emotion. That's the 4 realms of being. And then when we think of the elements, it's Nikutawan, Skuteo, fire, the sun. And when you're with that sun, you feel that warmth, sharing, caring, kindness. This guy, you can, when we pick him up, you'll step on him, you'll see your tracks. But 4 days later, he'll come back like this. That teaches forgiveness. That's why we light it and we bless everything. It's like when we use water, it's cleansing every day when we wash up and wake up. And when we burn that, it's to purify symbolically. You can feel the water, right? And you can drink it like that. You can feel it. But this, when the smoke is, some of the people were blessing themselves. You cannot feel the smoke, but you can see it, and it's going up. We believe the Creator. So that's part of this. And so when we set up a lot of these ceremonies, we bless everything. Like, I didn't bring my drum today, but I was glad to hear the guitars because I'm a drummer, but I play guitar too. See? So anytime that you whistle, you sing, we have a song that says, wake up, the birds are singing. And when the birds are happy, they're natural alarm clocks. 2 o'clock in the morning, summertime, you're going to hear them. So your spirit is happy, just like those little fiddle players out there, playing all my old songs from old school. Hi, Rubber Dolly. So we were just in here, just to give it her. You guys couldn't see us. We were performing, but that was good. So, and then they painted black. You know that last tune there? Pretty cool. So anyway, when we started off, we went in a circle like this. Native voice, we always go clockwise, like this. Anytime you go to a round dance, you'll see that we all hold hands like this. And then the drummers start, and it's like this. And your left go. You'll see the woman with their left hips just trying to swing it. Yeah, we just keep with that beat. So it's like a heartbeat. See? So the Creator had said, life is so short that you should always be kind and good to one another. That's what that song says. Life is so short that it is not often that we can see this. And that's what that song says. I notice, see how the child, right away, these children, I got their spirit. That song, any song moves the spirit in a good way. And so when we set up the teepee, we talk about the mother's role and how she raises the child, and how the man has to hunt and protect that woman, and how they have to respect that woman. And this was the sacred teachings a long time ago that my grandmother, the old ladies, they used to keep these young women beside them. They didn't let them run loose in the city like today. They kept those women, young women beside them. They showed them how to pick medicine. They showed them how to cook. They showed them how to sew. All those things. So the mother was in charge of the home. She gathered the wood and made that fire warm inside. That warmth is about sharing with one another. Because today now, TV, you know, Facebook, everything like that, these things own the kids. I'm going to play games all night, 2, 3 in the morning. But this first pole here teaches obedience and how to listen to the parents. See? And the parents to listen to the child. So that's one of the most important lessons of that first pole, obedience. The next pole went on to about respect, how you respect one another. The old man used to say, if you don't respect yourself, my teacher, he says, you can't respect anybody else. You have to respect yourself. If you don't trust yourself, how could you trust anybody else? If you don't love yourself, how could you love anybody else? How could you love your siblings, your parents, let alone the Creator? So these were such important teachings of what these poles meant. Another pole would mean honesty. See how straight they are. How straight do you walk?
Really straight?
Be honest with me. Are you straight with me? See?
You go curvy sometimes.
Exactly. It would be like those trees there. The tree teaches that. And same with the sacred pipe, the stem of that pipe, it teaches honesty. I carry that pipe and I have to be careful. Nobody is perfect except the Creator. I make many mistakes in my life. I'm a residential school survivor. But I've learned that in following this native way, I have picked up lots. And I'm happy today. I'm not perfect. I have a lot of faults, but I try to walk that straight path, just like an eagle feather, eh? Many sides to the feather. Many times you'll stray off, but you always come back. Sometimes you go in a bush, a walk down by Saskatchewan River or somewhere in the forest. Look for a tree that most resembles you. Some of us go way to the side, find some crooked trees, come back. See? And they have strong roots, just like those pine trees there. You have a lot of good ingredients in those roots. You're going to be a healthy tree and go straight and tall, just like some of these kids here. But that's about that honesty. Another one, another pole, it teaches about humility. Putting others first before yourself. Another pole, just like all of you have that right now, patience. And being able to sit in one place. We learn about patience in a vision quest and how it is to sit in one place for hours like this with a pipe, with saying prayers for other people to get better. And we have these things called bundles, something like this. And people depend on us. You pray for your families. But there you find out what the gift of movement is, because when we sit like this for a certain amount of time, oh my goodness, your feet go to sleep. See? So the gift of movement. And then when you don't drink water for 4 days, I can't talk. You know, you get dehydrated and you get weak. This is strength. Every plant, every animal needs this to survive, all of us. So this is one of those life-giving elements. See? And when you need this, it's a cry for help. They say in Cree, it flows down your eyes like a river. It's a cry for help. You could be spiritually hurting, you could be physically hurting, you could be mentally hurting, or emotionally hurting. And it's okay. I never used to cry as a kid because my dad said men don't cry. I found out different. Now somebody tells us that story on Matusk prior. But so yeah, all these have all these different values, you know, and I get really forgetful as I'm growing older. So I'm gonna go back to reminders here. Another, I guess, another one of these is love, and I already mentioned that. If you don't love yourself, it's hard to love anyone else. So the elder would say the greatest gifts that we can give one another in this life is the one of kindness, basic kindness. Even if you don't like the person's character, you can still love him. Not every person rubs us the right way, but we develop a tolerance. See how strong that wind is? It moves things. Yeah, so the old man Joe used to say, the one we give to each other is kindness, and wakuto is kind of the relationship we have, and the other one is self-discipline. Challenge yourself to be the best that you can be. So challenge yourself. We have so many obstacles in life, but we can overcome them if we believe. You know, a lot of part that's missing. Like I like the fact that Prince Charles is the Catholic school system, but in the public schools, a lot of times they don't believe in that spiritual aspect, spirituality. That's always been part of the native teachings, spirituality, because we need that spirit, body, mind, and emotion. A lot of times, why do young people commit suicide? They don't know where to turn. There's no spirituality. They give up on themselves. So it's another great teaching that I learned is, if you are weak in this life, you will never survive. But if you are strong, you will survive. But be strong in a good way. Strength of spirit, strength of body. I'm 69 and I'm still pretty good. Strength of mind. My nephew will tell you I love playing Scrabble and I'm a real dirty player. But I love playing that because it keeps my mind active, eh? And strength of emotion, be able to laugh. That was our survival mode, being a residential school survivor. Even through the roughest times, able to laugh and tell stories. But I also learned that on the opposite balance of that is the ability to have feeling, to be humanitarian and to cry. And there's no shame in it. I used to be ashamed to cry, but now I don't mind. So, of course, the other, one of the other things, it makes me sad sometimes. I go to powwows or round dance. Our teachings say cleanliness. That's one of these poles. Keep Mother Earth clean. So I hope everyone today, when they leave here, there's a lot of garbage cans that they'll, even if they didn't throw that potato chip bag, I found one in the back here and I threw it in the back of my truck. But keep Mother Earth clean. And it always looks nice because people judge you by your community, even in the revs. Yeah? So, cleanliness. Another one is to be appreciative of whatever we have, thankfulness. Like I said today, and I said it from here, I'm honored that I'm here, I'm thankful that I'm here because I saw community. And we need to have more of these. This is the first time I've been in this particular community, but there was something else going on in Evergreen. So I skipped the border, I came here.
We're glad you did.
Anyway, the other teaching, one of these pools is about sharing, like what you people did here today. But we get that lesson from the sun, eh? The sun is teaches kindness, it teaches sharing. It shares and cares for us because when everything is cold, pretty soon it's going to be cold. If ever you notice that when the sun goes and it's dark in your house or trailer, it gets cold. And as soon as the sun comes out, what do? You know, feel that warmth. Or else you push that button on it, furnace. That's that secret fire, you know, keeps you warm. So we try to reflect that within our own selves. And that sun comes out, oh, all of a sudden there's a lot of light. So this is how we say, we want to share that warmth that we have within us. It's not always easy. And we want to share that light to one another, especially to our children. So that's one of those teachings. And of course, it holds all these poles up and it holds the teepee up. Strength. A lot of support with these. So that's part of us too. Like I said, if you're strong, you will survive, but be strong in a good way. So, and basically, all these poles, any kind of the values that we have. And I'll read this. I wrote this down a long time ago. It's called, what are values? What does value mean to anybody here? What's a value? I'll read it out. I define this. Values are beliefs, how you were brought up. They're morals, guidelines. A guideline and a principle that an individual, that each one of us, decides to live by, using personal choice. So life is about choice. These may exist by a way of life. See, in this way, this walk, we call it the healing journey. And by example, the ritual, the ceremony, the education or laws that are acceptable to family, tribe, or community. And this is about community. I don't know why I photocopied this. But I decided, hey, this is community. So the knowledge can be connected to living, non-living things, like even rocks in the sweat lodge. Do you think they're not alive? They give their life when they break with water and fire. And they give their life so that we can heal in the sweat lodge. See? But when you see a rock, it's just plain. A lot of times when they break, you'll see the crystals inside of them. There's an inner beauty in them. I was like those rocks because I was mean when I was growing up. Because I knew nothing but meanness from the nuns. I knew nothing but meanness from the priests. And I'd get punished for, I didn't understand sometimes. And that's part of residential school living. And I was a rebel. So through ceremony, I was able to change my lifestyle. And I like being around people now. I laugh a lot. And I like who I am. And I get a little bit emotional when I talk about that because I learned to let go. And that's the key to healing. I used to drink myself. And I'm going to share this privately. My nephew knows my story. But my own mother died because my dad was beating her up when they were drinking. And she froze outside in the snow. Many, many years ago. Later on, I said I'd never drink alcohol. But I fell into that. And on April 22nd, 1978, I was drinking and driving, going to Saddle Lake because my wife had gone to another party. I went to another party. I felt abandonment because I had major abandonment issues in residential school. And then in that April 22nd, 1978, I never forget that day. I lost control of my vehicle because I was drinking and driving. Rock bottom. And I lost one sister and two daughters. We went upside down through ice. And at that time, only one son, he's gone now for the last 6 years, he died. But him and I survived that accident. See, this is part of the story and how I changed my life around and how I came to be. I never realized I'd even come to Edmonton. I've walked that full circle in life. And I didn't know I'd be sharing the story today, but it seems appropriate. But it's about life change and how sometimes we want to give up on ourselves. At that time, I couldn't face my wife. I wanted to commit suicide. Even after that, a month later, my oldest brother died in his sleep. And it was a guy that I admired, you know. And family loss. We have all these tragic histories that we're able to survive. And so this is the meaning of, I guess I get called to many places, but I never know, every time I go and share, it's different. And I'm just, you know, when I see little guys like this here, they're pure. And they have a lot of that. See how nice they are? It's just wonderful to see young life. And, you know, it just seems like yesterday that couldn't wait till I could be 18, eh? Oh, I'm 69. But anyway, so any of this knowledge can be connected to the living. The strength of values in humans can be linked and measured by the purpose that includes courage, obedience, respect, trust, honor, kindness, honesty, patience, all these things here. Continuity of values evolves in commitment, and the commitment is hard. If you say you're going to do something for somebody, and especially if you receive protocol, show up. You know, and commitment to me for our students today is attending school regularly, going for that purpose when you're in school to make sure you learn when you're supposed to be learning. If you skip one day in school, that's knowledge that's you're not going to receive. How can you write a test if you miss that day, you know? Like I tell that to our kids in circle like this. And sometimes it's hard for the youth to understand. They're too cool. So, what I do, and I hope many of you will do it, is lead by role modeling. Lead by dignity. Be proud of who you are. Balance all these things that we say in life. And that way you will get that harmony and peace. You'll feel better about yourself. So, all this will lead to spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional well-being. And I'll stop there for now, and I promise this guy lost his papers.
Very much.
But you know, like most of the time I teach from up here because I listened a lot to the old man. He used to say, I live by simple rules that he said, my mentor. And he says, if ever you have a problem in life, whether it's a addictions issue or a relationship issue, or you're not feeling good about yourself, he says, consider the source. Where does it come from? And go back. And when that happens, all of a sudden you start figuring it out. Or how could I have done something else different? How could I do it better? So sometimes it's tough, to admit you're wrong. I know. But I'm not always in the right, and I have to eat that, So I'll stop there, but I want to thank you all for listening to me, and it's a real pleasure. Hi!